I welcome Mr. Salunkhe, our Honorable President, to share his welcome speech.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Joshi Saab, Sushil Kumar ji, Ravindra Shah ji, and our delegates from the various parts of India, particularly for a special edition of this webinar on the SME technology. Friends, we are, facing a lot problem nowadays because of the second wave, third wave. This coronavirus impacted not only health but well. All in factories and companies, private companies in Maharashtra are closed, and mostly the impact on SME sector because their labors are not there, their workers are not coming, their management team is not coming because private offices are closed. But nevertheless, we have to continue our business, doing business from home, doing work from home, and therefore we have to thank to technology because of the technology, because of the telecommunication system, we are now interfacing with each other, interacting with each other. Friends, we are aware that digital SME is a concept is initiated by us, especially for the empowering SMEs, encouraging them to adopt advanced technology. Last 5 years we are focusing and we are creating awareness about the various technology, various technological development, aspect where SME can understand the importance, uses, and how they can use this all the facility for improvement of their services, improvement of their quality. And particularly I found that most of the Indian SMEs are now started adopting the industrial automation because we have to compete with the global market, especially with the China. Then we have to produce quality product, quality services. Then only we can be a world's industrial hub. And therefore we have taken a lot of initiatives. We have set up our SME Technology Development Council, which is headed by Mr. Viren Joshi. He is going to speak on the how Indian SME can take advantage about this platform, what are our initiatives, and how we can support the SMEs. Second thing, we are supporting the SMEs for connectivity with the various parts of the world, for especially for the strategic business partnership, marketing, export business, joint venture, technology transfer, contract manufacturing, and we are supporting them to identify the right business partner because whenever any SME is approaching any international company, they are not aware about their background, they are not aware about their presence in that region, and how to tap the market, how to connect with them with the Indian missions abroad. We are working very closely with them. Second thing, most important, we found that a lot of SMEs are facing problem to get funding from banks on time. Therefore, we have a SME finance center where which supporting SMEs to identify the banker, identifying the investor for particularly their business growth, expansion, and diversification. Now corona has impacted on the business from the last March, and a lot of SMEs are facing problem because their accounts are becoming NPA. They are utilizing the surplus fund which is made available by the bank. But now the banks also, because yesterday I had a talk with some of the RBI officials, and they are also thinking to come out with a package. And this is good news for other SMEs. Those are impacted during this pandemic and this second wave also. So we would like to suggest the SMEs that they can approach with their specific requirements, specific support. Then we can understand their requirement and we will give them a hand holding. Today we are going to introduce the Ravindra Shah. He's also recently selected on our National Advisory Board, and he is heading the chief engineer for the Tata Technologies, which is one of the unique platform where they are supporting for digitalization, industrial automation, all types of technological support they are providing. So Ravindra Shah ji, आपका स्वागत है. I welcome you at this platform and at our chamber family also. Another very interesting thing, Tata Delhi Business Services. They are putting efforts. Other we are working with very closely with it. They are our strategic partner, and I found that they are encouraging SMEs. They are putting their efforts for the creating a lot of awareness, particularly various communication products, services. How the SME can utilize this all these services where they can be easily work from home, or do business from home, or provide the value addition services or support services to their employees. So these are the today's agenda, and I'm sure that all the delegates have joined today, and the delegates will be watching our link later on. I suggest come out with the proper requirements, approach our secretariat, provide proper your company profile, company activities, business activities, so that we can provide you proper and value addition services. I'm sure that today's webinar will give you a lot of insight, and where you will be happy to understand how you can put forward for your next steps, so that you will survive in this pandemic, and of course you will revive your company for better business. With these words, I'm thankful to all the speakers and dignitaries and the delegates for joining today. Over to Aman.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for a very impressive welcome speech. With that, I'll invite Mr. Rabin Shah, Chief Engineer, Strategic Project, Tata Technologies, to share his thoughts today about strengthening and transforming SMEs for better growth. He has over 28 plus years of work experience with Tata Technologies and Tata Motors. He has strong domain knowledge in product design and all areas of manufacturing. He is also a subject matter expert in execution, delivery, pre-sales, and revenue growth. Welcome, sir, once again, and the podium is open for you now.
Thank you, Mr. Raman, and thank you, Mr. Salanki, for giving me opportunity and introducing me, and welcome to the board. Thank you so much. And I'll just share my presentation, and with that taking reference, I'll be just talking about. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I'm loud enough?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So, thank you for Mr. Salunki for giving me insight on how our SMEs becomes to be global competitive with the quality of product and manufacturing facility. So, what the theme we have just noted, the theme is SMEs, Digital SME Summit, and how can we strengthen SMEs to improve their capabilities, and how the ecosystem and platform can strengthen them to improve the growth, quality of service, and productivity. So with this objective and theme, my discussion will be around this, and I'll share the views and experience how it can support in this current COVID pandemic situation to help them to be the global competitive and adoption of the digital technologies. So since it is already introduced, I skip this slide. I come with the 28 years of Tata Motors, Tata Technology background, and more than 80 customers I have worked for the worldwide. And I got opportunity to work from the automotive end-to-end, aerospace, heavy machinery, steel, port, and air cargo. And almost all leading technology of engineering I have worked upon, used, and delivered. And across the domain I have worked. Taking this, I have put my the views in under three, the current challenges, and second is I have just touching upon only 8 aspects of on how SMEs can go on digital and leverage the benefit of digital technology, and then at last we'll have a kind of what learning through this we have. When we look at the challenges, the challenges which we see is that primarily we see that how the 3D CAD data and document management is the key challenges which we see. And second is the lack of effective collaboration. And we see that majority of time, and we were using only point solution of the engineering, increasing complexity, cost pressure, project delays, rework, quality and opportunity loss, and a platform to do the innovation. So these are the few challenges which I've just listed it down. And what the solution comes to really address is that moving from point solution to the platform-based cloud collaboration solution, adopt more and more digital, adopt this digital solution into each stages of the product and manufacturing ecosystem, go for virtual innovation, faster time to market. And once we set the base layer of the digital platform, then what we can do, we can keep on adding the next layer of the technology to take the advantage of benefit of that. And most important, how we can leverage the adoption of the best practices of the industry, which will help to overcome the challenges. And this will lead to time cost saving, better quality, as Mr. Salunke was talking about. It will help us to be the global competitive and help the current COVID pandemic to be anywhere to really collaborate, work, and innovate. And so this is the what challenges I have put forward. Now, I'm going to this particular slide. I'm going to, as we know that we are in the era of the Industry 4.0, and we have evolved from Industry 1, 2, 3, and 4. Industry 4.0 talks about a lot of levers and the verticals to really leverage the product and manufacturing ecosystems to get benefit of that. It's a very vast area, but I have just picked up the 8 trigger point, 8 aspects of this Industry 4.0, which will set the SME as a kind of base and foundation. And top of that, they can prioritize this, they can create a global digital vision roadmap to adopt add-on layers. So I'll just talk about that one by one, and I will talking at the very high level. Later we can get in discussion to understand each of the aspects in details. So I'll talking about the very high level. Now I'm just talking about the below part of the 8 aspects only. One aspect is the foundation of transformation journey. So this slide is I prepared especially for today's session. So there are 3 aspects to it I have put. One is that horizon of end-to-end product development cycle. It talks of product as well as the manufacturing, and we go through the concept, project management, design, manufacturing, prototyping, pre-production, release, launch, and wrap up. This is the typical standard the process we follow, and here this leads to the multiple functions and domain, which includes the design, manufacturing, tooling, jigs, all entire things covered. So depending on the SMEs and their in the respective product or manufacturing, they can adopt this this technology going ahead. So base for the go digital is that as per the best practices, and we see that adoption of the platform cloud-based technology instead of going the point-based solution, working in isolation. Always there is a data management, document management, collaboration. We face the challenge, and now the technology is available where all the point solution comes to the cloud, the platform base, where the all agency can collaborate together and utilize the technology, and it will eliminate the challenges which I talked about it. Go for digitalization of product and manufacturing ecosystems. I'm going to touch upon the next slides, couple upon that, and how the collaboration with the community and partners to share, review, and it's very, very important. The moment we collaborate with our partner, our suppliers, or the next streamline agency, so they we get their view, we get the innovation, we get their feedback to really inform. So this platform based really help to collaborate and innovate the product. And the most important, which we see that typically in any project, the project delays is the causing the lot of delays. So if this platform also based solution also provide that how collaboratively we can do the project management with all the agency. And the most important is like the project management, but project management with the CAD environment, in engineering environment, where we can share our engineering data, we can collaborate, get the feedback, review it. So this helps, and it gives overall tracking, monitor, and control, and can find it where the we are delaying it, or we are in the green zone or red zone or yellow zone. And this is the most important. The last one, the single version of truth. We on when we collaborate with the single the database or single version of the data, is the truth. We faster time to market and it overall reduce the time to cost. So only that this can be achieved is that an organization, an SME needs to set up the target, that the processes, and sets the flag that we will have the digital approval before going any physical. Digital approval before going any physical. That flag sets that so that digital environment give the collaboration, all sort of innovation can happen, and then all reduction rework can be eliminated, and then we go for the the physical. That's the foundation of the transformation journey begins. And what are the technology I'm going to talk about? All industry sectors is applicable. You talk about automotive, you talk about infrastructure, energy, process, agriculture, aerospace, or healthcare. So it covers the all end to end. Some of the sectors I have listed down over here. But in some way or other form, this any stage of the cycles can be adopted. So this is what is the this foundation of transformation journey. This particular aspects I wanted to touch upon it. And at the last slide, I have put that what are the technology enabler for each of the stages of the product life, and I'm going to talk about and share that to adopt it. So second point, I have very detailed. I have prepared that how product life cycle management helps the collaboration enable all functionality. Whether you talk about the product data out about the product attribute or the your manufacturing attribute, and how the information flow from design to all the downline stages. So manufacturing, we talk about quality, maintenance. So you see here at the center of the PLM1 I have written. So this is the product lifecycle manager, which manages the CAD data and non-graphics CAD data also collaboratively, and all information related to the product manufacture is captured here. Change management it happens, or release of the process happened, or any kind of document uploading, supportiveness, all is managed. And it gives, you see the arrow given up, which goes to all the down the line agency, like a new product introduction or service quality in our ecosystem of the SME environment. And bottom, this also gives a platform to connect with the ERP, and information flow happens. So this is a very detailed slide. One can refer it, and I can, with this itself slide can have a kind of one detailed sessions where we can learn more about the aspect. The point is here is that SMEs needs to move, adopt much more deeper functionality of the PLM to really improve the timing, productivity, better data management, and collaboration among the all stakeholders. Going to the third aspect, which I wanted to highlight is the CAE-led design. CAE-led design, what it means that if you see the top left side, we see the product design is there, and right side we see the three boxes: pre-processing, solution, and post-processing with the CAE analysis. So when a SME in the environment of the product design, he designed the concept design. He immediately, the designer at the first concept level, he does the CAE analysis. CAE analysis is that product will fail, pass, how much stress is joined, how much stiffness I'm getting, what is the model, what is the NVH I'm getting. It's all aspects at the first cut level. He does it the product design. So product design himself, he adopt this as a best practices so that he improve the design in spite of what CAD tools, the digital tools he is using. So it will give opportunity to refine his design and innovate and come up with the kind of the final design, which he can subsequently give it to the stage to which I have written detailed analysis by CAE analyst. So first is that CAE-led design by the designer at the concept stage, and then same output once you finalize and then it goes to the stage 2, which is detailed CAE analysis, where analysis can be done for the linear static analysis, durability, or kind of the product require that kind of the analysis to be done. That CAE analysis can do it, and finally he can again come back. If you see the bottom arrow I have shown, he can give feedback to products, any kind of fine tuning, any further improvement to be done. And this analysis gives lot of best practices, lot of past data to be taken care while improving the design. And when he is designing, I put certain points, how the best practices for the efficient design I have talked about. We know that how part less pound comes to be, and how automated bill of material can be generated, so that it all improve your productivity and efficiency. How the part to be modeled with the best practices of industry, so that any changes happen in a parametric concept or subsequent the product get automatically updated. All major dimensions are linked with together, so that any equation can fit into that. Any changes can automatically get to kind of different kind of configuration can be achieved. And designer at that stage, he can assign the material property so that overall he can estimate the material. So those are some functionality as a best practices I have listed it down can be adopted. Now coming to the right side, details analysis, there are aspects of the pre-processing, post-processing to visualize the data analysis report. So this particular the aspects I'm talking about, that in a product design environment, it has to be a CAE-led design at the concept level and the detailed design by the CAE analyst. And I'm going to talk at the last all technology which will make enable. I have covered as a one constellation for the on the function towards the end. Now, this is the one of the very important things I'm touching is the knowledge-based engineering. It could be applicable to the product. It could be applicable to the manufacturing ecosystem. Ecosystem manufacturing could be the jigs and fixture is designing, or the any die is designing this. So what knowledge-based engineering provides that there are two types of knowledge, which is the explicit knowledge. Anyone has that tacit knowledge. When it's the explicit knowledge, one has to refer for the design manual, engineering method and means. But other sides, the tacit engine, which I have built with my experience, and that experience is input goes to my knowledge in designing the product or manufacturing ecosystem component. So this knowledge-based engine is very emerging, and OEMs and tiers are adopting is SMEs can develop that. If he has got any kind of in their ecosystem, any kind of product related aspect, designing or manufacturing jigs or fixture, any other related, he can capture that information as an input. And so that I am as a designer, I am the user of this KB application, I can just key in the basic input data. It goes back and takes the all explicit knowledge, tacit knowledge, and develop the kind of end product, and I straightway get a product which I can implement. The benefit which I'm going to go is the significant amount of time reduction, significant of the cost reduction, and all other benefit which you get it. And it is a foolproof, etc. And again, if you do it, further probably we can also do for the CAE analysis knowledge engineer, which does automatic CAE, or take this an output model for the CAE analysis to do it, which I just talked before it. I'm just putting an example in the next slide. I just put an example of an application built for the knowledge-based engineering. You see here, suspense and leaf spring. Here objective is that, say, user has to or designer has to give the only what is the type of spring, which is the single stage or multi-stage, load, span, stiffness of the vehicle camber, the basic input. And then what it does, it automatically application develop, design, and generate the CAD model or draft drawing itself. This particular application has significantly reduced the time in the tune of 90 to 95% of the productivity improvement. 95% of the time saving has achieved. So SME needs to look for that, adopt this digital KB application, build up and save the time, and it will give the full first applications. And it's also that the knowledge of the any people can be captured, which can be subsequently utilized and doesn't go with the people when he leaves it. So this is very important aspect I wanted to talk about. Fourth, the next aspect, which is fifth point, I'm just talking about a digital manufacturing. This digital manufacturing covered the all aspects of the talking about. I'm just going to the next slide. It talks about the process planning, facility planning, logistics, traffic, NC machining, digital simulation, ergonomic, robotics, all aspects is covered. So I have put two slides on this. Typically what happens, there will be two scenarios. One scenario will be that an SME is going for the greenfield project, or SME is going for an existing field where he is going for the expansion. So we have got for the greenfield project and brownfield project. Typically in greenfield project, if you see, there are some business objective which starts. If I'm opening a new manufacturing facility, then he takes certain strategic decision. Okay, I will make this component in-house, and these are the components which I will buy outside, or this process I will outsource it, or this is a process I will in-source it. So he, from the business perspective, he tries to buy and make, and then the objective is to build the digital twin of entire manufacturing ecosystem. When you say the entire ecosystem means process, to talk about shop floor documentation, line balancing, or the digital walkthrough or digital twin of the factory, or e-learning kit, or any kind of simulation for manufacturing validation. And then entire thing is done. Then if you see here, this goes for the digital validation, digital approval. So on all things which I'm talking about, the left side of this box is all done in digital Infosphere. So one digital process, then if you see there, I put a vertical green line, which is a flag, which is a get, go, no go. Once it's go, then we start the physical shop. That is applicable to this for your greenfield project, and all we do in the. So here we get out that all a rework, all experimentation, capacity validation, capacity improvement, utilization, and validation of your the entire. And most beautiful that I can run this entire plan for the future 1 year of production, 2 months of production, entire you can validate, improve. So do push more and more on the front loading in digital information. Once the process in place, meet the expectation and target set, then you go for the start physical activity. Same thing if you go to the brownfield project, where brownfield is where I'm making the changes primarily basically due to capacity expansion in the existing facility, or adoption of technology, or new variant product, or I'm changing some kind of business activity. So similarly, we need to do the impact analysis. Best way to do the simultaneous engineering, impact analysis in the digital world, because I have created past digital ecosystem where the data of the manufacturing ecosystem is available in digital world. So I can do all kind of experimentation for kind of impact analysis for the brown project. And then I have already talked about that we have set the gateway for the flag, and that flag will enable you to really remove the flag, to remove the flag to go to the physical. So this particularize that any kind of existing facility or the greenfield project we are putting it out, it's very important for SEMI that he does all things digitally. And most important is that digital, when you do it, we can work from anywhere. We can collaborate. I talked about the platform based, where your top management or the all ecosystem people or stakeholder can collaborate and talk about and listen. So this talk about digital approval before physically. This is a very important aspect. We need to really adopt it. I've just touched upon a very all aspects, all top aspects of how the digital twin of or adoption of the digital technology or digital manufacturing help us. I've just put all the details. We talk about the layout planning, logistics planning, right side process planning, operation, time analysis, line balancing, and product process issues comes together. Right, left side, you show the factory flow. I can run the plant digitally and map all the processes and timing and the precedence and succedence of the process to find it out what the quantity of production I'm achieving. Am I achieving 20 per shift? But my target is 30. It will throw is the where is the bottleneck. Then let's tweak the work on the bottleneck with the semi-automation, autonomous improvement the process or technology to de-bottleneck that. We can do inbound logistics, we can outbound logistics, utilization, all such things can be done in digital environment and validated. And 3D factory I just talked about is the digital factory, is a digital twin of all the facility which we see physically before that you create digitally. Right inside the process feasibility simulation is very important. Say I'm in a shop, I'm just doing a deburring operation manually, but deburring operation, is that right? Is the challenges of what process to be adopted? How the tool is reachable, approachable. So all validation can be done digitally, and then we saw that this is a standard methodology process I am going to share with the manufacturing team operator to adopt it. Shop documentation is very important. Shop documentation with the change management. Any product or variant get introduced or changes in the product, it automatically reflected because I'm adopting working at the platform level. All the point solutions are collaborated. So I can get the process sheet, work instruction, quality document. We talk about process flow diagram, process FMEA, control plan, matrices, all such of quality which is needed by on the shop in terms of display or pass it to the supervisor that is available. Robotic simulation, we can create the next is robotic simulation, work cell can be gripper, validation, all such things can be done, offline programming, and we can see the productivity improvement, cycle time improvement, and make the program in such a that it physically go and deploy and then after the output. Ergonomic simulation nowadays in SME is very important, that how to improve the fatigue of the operator, how the posture or the safety can be improved, all this, and visibility when he's doing that operation visibility. One is that we do physically and then come back and do the changes, which is wastage of the effort and time, etc. But when we do the digitally and all such things we can evaluate and simulate, then it's good to go physically, where my processes are flawless and I can go for the lineage of the process and manufacturing. So this particular slides, I have top major aspects of it I have touched upon, which SMEs adopt it in digital environment and can benefit that. In fact, the lakhs projects in my career, I adopted it, I implemented globally, inside and etc. And then it really give benefit in terms of type and cost and products launches and flawless operations. So here the summary is that digital is the way for time and cost saving, collaboration and faster time to market, which the manufacturing ecosystem talks about. Just we have seen it. Going ahead, I have got to three more to talk about a smart factory. I'm just touching, this slide is talking about the just basics to be started, and we can add on layer. So how we can have seen the smart digital factory, we have seen the digital spending, but how we can make the factory smart with the use of the IoT devices or sensor devices, and how I can make the machines and the equipment smart so that I can collect the data and push back to the system, and which with the top management or supervisor and the officers can visualize it and monitor and track it. It's very, very important. Here we can SMEs can start with a small thing, maybe that how the energies can be monitored. Here is the kind of air compressor. You talk about the energy, electrical or power systems. How the some machines can be captured. How many part it is put, how much part is rejected. All such things we can connected. Then it will give you the live streaming or live data where it enables you to take the decision. We can control that rework. We can improve the efficiency by the, we call the overall equipment effectiveness. The quality is talking about. We are talking about quality, we are talking about performance, where we are talking about the production. So we can see left, right side, we can have the Pareto chart. What is the maximum contribution of any problem? It gives your display dashboarding, and it helps with the kind of less downtime, increased productivity and higher efficiency. So here, going for the smart factory, we can have the layer by layer. First, I decide, SMEs can decide that I adopt this, track is monitor, get the realize the benefit. Then keep on adding one by one, or we can have the, say, one work shell, then multiply the work shell, go for the entire line, or we can start with the kind of, first with the energy monitoring and capturing it, so that a different level can be achieved, and at the end, we can also estimate that cost per unit part produced. So this is the thing. I'm touching about what is augmented virtual reality. It's very important that we should, since we have before set the CAD data, we have set the morphing data digitally, then how I can leverage to better CAD visualization during your collaborative review, or how it can enables me to do the e-learning kit, or I can create a content for our sales and marketing for better marketing. So these are the all aspects where virtual reality, digital walkthrough, augmented with when the virtual is put on the your physical and visualities, and the mixed reality combination of these two. I'm just touching how this can be. So this particular slide I have just prepared is for that to make enable it. See either left side we see that what are the hardware and what are the software used. Here we see that game engine is also playing a significant role of integrating with the PLM, whatever the CAD data using, and then build the content. The right side, the platform can be used, whatever I'm going to talk about, the technology, emerging technology, which can come over here. And the bottom is the multiple devices using that we can visualize it. So one side is the hardware, second and one side is the technology, right side is the technology, again the software, and bottom is your enable a gadget, which can be used to create the content as I spoke about. I'm just putting a next slide here, how it helps us at different stages of augmented and virtual reality. And it's a part of implementation. It gives a tremendous platform for innovation in the product and manufacturing ecosystem to really improve. It can be done for the design area, manufacturing area, trail, sales, maintenance, and sales work. And end of the day, it reduces the time, optimization, first time right. So this is an ecosystem which I have details, I have mentioned about it, how it can be like. But we can start with the first level of take the data, have the better visualization, take the manufacturing facility and just have a walkthrough. And I can create an assembly where I'm doing I'm picking a part and assembling it. So what is the safety protocols to be followed? Is he picking the right pump? Is he using the right tools? All such things, contents can be created, and we can train our operator, or I can create the content for the sales and marketing to better do the marketing. Nowadays, very, very important how you create an experience for the customer, how you create your internal customers experience that match a lot to really to be the global competitiveness and go to the next level. And just I put one more slide. I have just put one more slide that this can be implemented across the sectors, across the system. I have just put the so many sectors here with some examples picked up from the internet, etc. So this is a very important slide, which is my last slide of the last aspects I'm going to talk about engineering technology. I took a lot of pain, and I'm happy to share that almost all areas of the technology I have worked in my career and implemented for customer. So product life cycle is the top one. A product word is missing. The product life cycle, these are the technology is available in the platform-based solutions are provided. Then we have product design. We talk about all the solutions I have listed it down, which is currently can be adopted to be more on digital. Then product CA validation, I have listed it down, digital manufacturing, all the technology, the domain which I spoke about, this technology can be adopted. And then metal flow is very, very important. I just touched upon when I'm doing a sheet metal designing, then how forming simulation can be done, how forming can be improved, how rework can be reduced. We can do, say, the forging kind of SME. When you use the forging, one is that you do the die design and develop the die and go for the trials and etc. And then make the improvement, underfilling, overlapping, or excessive material. But now that say soft technology is available where we can create the forging machine, a press or hammer, take the raw material, heat it up with the heat treatments, and then compress and see that is the raw material is enough or underfilling is happening or the proper filling in the finisher cavity is happening. All digitally we can do it. Same thing do for the casting, we can do the sheet metal. So technology is adapter where we are pushing more and more of front loading before so that our time and cost and rework is eliminated. And virtual augmented virtual reality just talk about that. These are the bottom line. So this particular is a very, very important slice. Depending on the sector, depending on the SMEs are in the business or the product manufacturing ecosystem, accordingly he pick up and start rolling out the base, or he is using some of the technology, he can take it to the next level of maturity and adoption. So far I've just talked about all 8 the aspects which I'm talking about. There are many more aspects in industry which probably the next we can discuss and interact. But since this 8 platform which will set as the as a SME to really start with, take it to the next level, adopt it, practice it, and go to the next level. This is what the message I wanted to come. And last is that what the key learnings from this is that only these 3 points: creating digital twin a product and manufacturing system is to set the base for digital journey and innovation. It's a very, it gives the innovation also on the Mr. Salunke was talking about. We need to really create a kind of environment in SMEs. They need to innovate the product and manufacturing to really improve to be the global point. So these are some of the aspects I touched upon. And each SME has to set up a digital technology roadmap vision to keep adding technology layers, layer by layer, and depending on the domain and sector he is having. And adoption of platform-based solution and collaboration is the key factor for success in the current era. So this is what is the learning. So thank you. This is what the point I wanted to share my view. Thank you, Aman. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Very insightful and very, very enriching. Since we are over our time, I'll take one question. If anybody wants to go, otherwise, I have one question of my own.
Sure.
Okay. If nobody else is going, sir, one thing that I wanted to check from you, what are some of the key incentives that you think are needed by SMEs in the country, be it from state or central government, that are currently missing or which are not up to scale?
I can do that, Mr. Raman, and it's right, good question, and we should do it. It would be nice that I take some more input from SME from you, that the kind of the sector or industry they are, and the kind of product or they are there in the manufacturing. If we target and identify that, I'm surely I can suggest to go ahead.
Okay, fine, sir. Thanks a lot for your contribution. And if we have any other questions, we'll get back to you towards the end of this session.
Sure.
With that, I'll like to invite Mr. Sushil Kumar Patil now, who is a solution expert based in Mumbai. He works with Tata Tele Business Services, and he'll be talking about smart solutions for SME manufacturing to accelerate growth. Welcome again, sir. The stage is all yours. So you are on mute.
Thank you, Raman, and I'll be sharing my screen. Please confirm me if everybody is able to see the same.
Go ahead, sir. We can see it, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for confirmation. Well, it was a very wonderful session with Mr. Ravindra Saha, which gave you complete insight about the manufacturing industry, the way forward, and the paradigm shift which is happening currently. So the thing which I'll be putting across is the smart solutions which we can offer, basis of which they can help the manufacturing segment to enhance. So what is a smart solution? It should be a simple solution which does not has any complexity. It should be a calculative solution. What is the definition of the solution? It's a simple, a calculative solution. A solution with less hassle, so which does not has any hassle front, with the cutting edge technology embedded into it. A solution which can be, can be accessible from anywhere. With, it can be a mobile solution. It can be accessed from any part within the office, out of the office. Also, at the same time, with such a features of it should be a secure, end-to-end secure, and it should be a collaborative, or it should be, you can say, a recorded, or it can be, having a documentation. So what we have, so I just introduce, for certain people or segment who, for benefit of them, what is the MPLS? So MPLS is nothing but the name suggests, it is multi-protocol label switching. It's a type of data carrying network with a high performance, specifically a private network to connect your head office with your branch office, or your head office with your warehouses. It can be your plants, manufacturing plants, or it can be your small offices or solo offices. So this is, the capability of MPLS, to connect each and every offices onto a same podium or a same platform. So this is, if you see the cloud which is there, so everything, as Mr. Ravindra put it across, they are going on a virtualization and a so everything, which is on the cloud, which can be, accessed nowadays through you can say a provision through which they can be privately accessed, and it will be as an extended LAN, as if as extended LAN, and as a secured way you can access through this MPLS technology. So what are the variants of the smart? What are the variants of this MPLS? So we have brand name Tata Tele Services as brand name, MPLS as a smart VPN, the new age MPLS VPN for an SME or the manufacturing segments which are there. So there are 5 variants of it, through which we can extend this cloud-based services, connectivity across your offices, your retail shops, your workshops, your plants, your you can say godowns. So how it is, the MPLS VPN. So this is the traditional way connect your business networks with a high bandwidth with the SLA based last miles. So the last miles which are there, those are the extenders, and the POPs which are there, that is a point of presence, are my distribution points through which I can distribute my services to their nearest offices. So now this MPLS VPN which is there, which we are talking, is on the legacy based last miles. So legacy based last miles, which means the wired connectivity and the wireless. So wired connectivity, which resembles with fiber till the home. It also resembles as a copper, certain buildings or certain, manufacturing hubs which are there, those are connected through copper. So depending upon the feasibility, the connectivity is extended. Internet VPN solution, which is there. So internet VPN is where, the customers can bring their own connectivity, or, they can bring their broadband, use their existing broadband, and they can, connect to my VPN, MPLS cloud, and I can extend my services till their premises. So this is a very low cost connectivity solutions, and I can give a management security services overlay onto it. Second is MPLS on LT. So this is on your 4G or LT SIM, your godown specifically, or your warehouses where there are one or two computers or nodes which are there, which needs to connect with your head office or your other branch offices. So an LT based or SIM based 4G SIM based connectivity for the remote branches can be connected and onboarded onto the MPLS cloud network. Secure Connect is a connectivity for the cloud-based service providers such as Amazon's Azure. If your platform is on Amazon or Azure, and that's on a virtual cloud, that can be connected through Amazon Direct Connect licenses or through Azure Express Route licenses. IBM SoftLayer and Google Cloud also can be connected to your offices, and the data can be shared across your multiple offices. Remote access is predominantly for the individual who is working from home, and he can be still able to connect to the office and able to do his daily routine. So these are the 5 variants of our smart VPN services. Let's understand one by one. So why MPLS? So why people go for an MPLS? It is the speed, it has a good speed, end-to-end connectivity, latency. So latency, which means there is no delay into it. So whenever point A and point B, suppose it is your head office and your branch office, and branch office to warehouse, the latency is very less. So wherein all your applications performance is good. Security. What MPLS gives as an USP is a highly secured network. It's a private network, so there are no chances or the negligible chances of hackers or the viruses to enter your network. Managed services, on top of it, what we give is, along with the MPLS services, we provide our managed services, wherein we provide a router at the premises, at your warehouses, at your offices, your head offices, your registered offices. We provide the routers. And what exactly MPLS lies an upper hand in the connectivity business is the prioritization of traffic. So the class of service or the quality of service which is there, which imparts the various segregation. That is the real time voice is considered as the first traffic, and which has been given a priority. So that is voice traffic or the voice calling between the branches. Second is your you can say the business critical traffic, which is the which has been given a business critical. The video traffic is considered critical, for video conferencing among the branches. So this type of connectivity which is there, it is a single path onto which you can harbor multiple applications, and you can prioritize those applications. So there is a class-based weight-fair queuing into it. So this is what additional advantage what we get it by going for an MPLS services. So let's understand each and every services, how we extend our MPLS services to your branch offices or your warehouses. So this is your hub. So MPLS hub, if you see on the right hand side, this is your head office. Now this is the P which is there. So this is nothing but our point of presence or a distribution point. We extend the services through a last mile, which can be onto fiber, or it can be on a copper, or it can be on the RF based radio frequency based last mile. And these offices which are there, so this can be your branch office. So this can be your spoke location, can be a branch office. so which can connect to your head office and being served for the information from the servers to and fro. Then there is office where where there is your own broadband and you wish to use that broadband to connect to the head office on a private and secure network. So we have the solution called a Smart Internet VPN or IP VPN, wherein we create a site-to-site VPN between our service gateway. So wherein the traffic flies or travels from the internet cloud, whichever the internet service provider it may be, it will be our router is placed at that location, and from there, the traffic is being filtered and it is being brought down to the head office, and that's how the connectivity establishes and they to and fro the data access. So this is where the solution where customer can bring their own connectivity, internet cloud or internet connectivity from any of the service providers, and we will ensure that it connects to the head office through a secured path. This solution is of LTE-based wireless connectivity. So your warehouses or the small offices where you have 2 to 4 PCs and they wish to connect to your head offices, that can be connected through a SIM-based router with a dual SIM bonding or triple SIM bonding, and that will from the SIM-based nearest SIM-based BTS, we can be able to connect through our NNI network and bring it to our MPLS network, and from there it will be able to connect the hub location. So this is SIM-based last mile, using the SIM-based last mile of the person or of the entity which is good in signal strength at that location. So we identify this. So this is a bundle solution which we offer. So wherein we go onto the site, whether it can be a workshop or it can be its plant, and ensure that the signal strength from any of the service provider, that is a mobile service provider, is good enough, and only then we onboard that service provider and we ensure that this branch office which is there, that is being able to connect to the hub location. This is predominantly a low-cost solution where the where the plant is in the remote place or the branch office is in remote place with few people, and they still wish to connect to the head office for the application communication. We move on to connect to the cloud. So therein we have if you see to connecting to various clouds, that is Amazon, IBM, and software Azure. So directly if you connect to an internet, you have specific challenges. One is the unsecured connectivity. Anybody can easily be able to hack in from the internet and compromise your network or the office. It adds additional capex, uncontrolled way of traffic to and fro from office to the various to the cloud service provider. There will be a jitter and a latency, which means a delay in connecting the application from your head office or from your branch office, so which may cause a timeout or the application performance may deteriorate. This is a complete unmanaged solution because the internet you do not have a control onto it. So these are few of the challenge when accessing either of the cloud service provider from your office, head office, or from a branch office. So solution for that is our Secure Connect to Cloud. So your office is still there, and either of one of the cloud service providers, you take the subscribe the licenses which is there. What we give as a secured MPLS connectivity, which ensures security, as it is an end-to-end private network. So there is no place or no port enough to compromise your office network. No capex involved into it. Highly controlled because both the points which are there are under my control. I am able to give a managed services. Jitter and latencies are reduced. There is an end-to-end management which is of Tata Teleservices. So wherein you can ensure that your instances which are being subscribed from Amazon or from Azure, you are able to access it securely from any of the office which are connected to this MPLS network. So what if we if you see on a whole as a complete network architecture of multiple hybrid solution, we can come up with this these offices which are there, which are connected on a LTE or a 3G 4G SIM. So these are connected to TTN MPLS network, where traditionally your head office and your branch offices are connected on the traditional last mile, that is a wired or a wireless. The same network, holistically, will accommodate the cloud service providers, and wherein either of one which you are subscribed, either AWS, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud, or again software, you can be able to access, and the internet VPN. So all the type of all the 5 types of last miles can be onboarded onto the single MPLS network, and they will be able to intercommunicate between each other. So you do not need separate service providers to connect and stitch this complete network. So it is a complete orchestration of the physical network into a single player. So there are few of use cases specifically to manufacturing. Cromwell Engineering Private Limited. This is manufacturing to sheets, the iron sheets, various type of metal molds which are there. And they had the issue of they were connected through a broadband connectivity and internet connectivity with various service providers. Now problem which they were facing was the performance and the latency, where the productivity challenges were there, which were not which due to which there were not uptimes, or the SLAs were not able to meet. So due to which the services were completely down. So their branch offices and the head offices were not able to communicate with each other for a day to 2 days long, due to this various service providers internet connectivity or a broadband connectivity. What we understood is this: we first studied specifically the nature of business, what into the Cromwell was. We stepped into the shoes of these manufacturing industries, and how critical these the plants needs to be connected to their head office for their daily routine works, and the SAP and the ERP applications which are there, which needs to be accessed. So basis of that, our study of it, we helped them with an MPLS solution, with a legacy last miles, that is on the fiber as well as copper, whatever was feasible. One of the sites which was there, that was a remote site where there was limited amount of connectivity. So and they wanted a bandwidth of like 2 Mbps. So what we suggested them to go for LTE based last mile, and we stitched this solution onto a single platform, on a single orchestration platform, and they are currently using this platform day in day out, and they are able to access each and every offices. They are able to get reviewed and get the performance of each and every plant. So this is what the impact what a private network or an MPLS technology can give it business excellence for the manufacturing industry. Second is our a classic example is of Savita Oil Technologies. Most of the people must be aware. They are manufacturing of lubricant oils, coolants, and various types of overhauling oils. And they had they wanted to integrate a backup service provider along with us. So so what we suggested was we understood the Savita oil mills, oil technologies. Their data center was based out in Bangalore, and the DC and DR setup which was there. So DR was set up in Bangalore and DC was in Mumbai. So we understood that requirement, and at the same time we had a joint calls with the backup service provider, and we stitched a solution in such a way that we gave them a redundant solution wherein their plants, their registered offices, as well as their data centers are all connected.
Can't hear him. Aman, can you hear him?
So services which
We lost him for a few seconds, sir. Go ahead,
visualization.
I guess we lost him again. Patil, sir, are you still there? I guess he's.
I think
Yeah.
there is some network problem. Looks like.
I think he's rejoining. Patil sir, can you hear us?
I'm there, but can you just keep on mute? I just want to. Yeah, yeah. So, hello, I'm not getting you.
What is, sir? You are not audible properly.
Hello.
Sir, we are losing you again and again. Maybe if you want to
Hello.
disconnect and rejoin. I guess there is some network issue on his end.
Meanwhile, do one thing, you inform him to rejoin, disconnect.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can invite Mr. Joshi.
Sure. Before we invite Mr. Joshi, I'll request everyone else to take a few minutes and fill in the
Hello,
poll that has
I'm
been
audible?
posted by Mr. May. Yes, sir. Welcome back. Yeah.
I'm
you
audible
are.
right now?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'll just.
We again lost you.
There are two sources, audio and web collaboration. Collaborate easily with colleagues and partners. So this is a unique solution, which helped him a lot in during the current pandemic, where people who are diversified in by geography, domestic as well as internationally or globally. So our solution, which acts like a virtual platform where they can meet and have their review meetings and they can have their trainings. So this is the platform which has four pillars into it, into its unlimited conferencing of fixed affordable monthly rentals. No need to worry about the usage or the port charges. Usually in audio conferencing or web conferencing, there is a concept called as a port charges. So there is nothing. There is a flat monthly rental. Participants conference with 125 participants at the same time. So at any time you can 125 participants can be part of that discussion. Wide reach, we have international dialing access from 80 countries with 130 plus access numbers. So across globally and domestically you can connect your customers or your the extended teams which are there, which are working globally. Feature rich and secure. So file sharing and chat, record and replay meetings over a secured conferencing setup. So this setup which is there, that has a 256-bit encryption algorithm. So where no person can hack this or be intervene or do a poaching into your discussion. So it is a completely highly secured platform. There are, this is audio web conferencing. There is one classic case study which I wanted to put. JSW Steel, in this current pandemic, it's a manufacturing company, and they wanted to have the reviews on a daily operations on the project progress vis-a-vis the plants as well as the new greenfield projects which were there. So they wanted a trusted and a secured solution provider who can take care of their audio web conferencing requirements. So answer was, TTL. So what we did is, we asked them to evaluate our collaboration services. So JSW Steel evaluated our solutions with the other solutions by, taking a 2-day trial. In similar lines, they took the trials from the other providers. Post-testing and capabilities of all our features, they subscribe to our domestic audio and web conferencing specifically for their India-based projects. So this is one thing which was you can say a icebreaker where where manufacturing companies were showing off from going for a collaboration service. So JSW Steel is a unique example where they are adopting this type of collaboration services, and they are going for this type of reviews rather than physical reviews or telephonic reviews. Second thing is also Usha Martin, a manufacturing company. This is a leading manufacturer of wire ropes. It has manufacturing plants across cities like in India, Ranchi, Dubai, Bangkok, and UK. They wanted a reliable collaboration solution by which they can connect to their international clients as well as locations in India. So both the domestic and international, with a mix and match of discussion and any trainings as well as reviews. So they did first our demo for 2 days and found all the features that they required. Additionally, they were also happy with the quality of the audio and video quality which was there, and that they enjoyed with our services, and hence they subscribed our services. So these are few of the smart solutions from my side. And I'm done with my presentation. So I'm open for the question answer. Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Thank you, Patil sir. Thanks for sharing these innovative solutions in private networks, MPLS, etc. We'll have time for a quick question. We'll take just one query. Does anyone want to shoot any queries? Or I can ask a small query.
If you want
Yeah,
to,
go ahead, sir. Okay. So,
question you can
Patil sir,
ask from the delegates also.
yeah, delegates, if any delegate has any question, please go ahead and shoot. We'll be able to take a single question though. Okay. If none, Patil sir, I have one query. Uh, with regard to all these new and innovative solutions, cybersecurity is a key aspect. How are
Right.
you managing something like that in some of the case studies that you have shared?
So yeah, it is an excellent question. Aman, due to the limitation of time, I could not, take over through our cybersecurity portfolio. So we have, couple of services in cybersecurity. That is email security, which is there. There is a multi-factor authentication, and there is the endpoint security. So along with this connectivity services, which is there, these are the top-up services wherein we can stitch a solution for the organization to ensure this security along with a double security we can be enforced or can be embedded in this current solutions. That's how it is. So if anything comes up with the security standards which are there, so we have a separate portfolio of a cyber security wherein we have firewall, email security, endpoint security, specifically for remote users who are wish to access their office network in a secure way. Then we have the email security, wherein your the email boxes are not being personified with by some folks emails which are there, so that we can ensure it. Uh, we also have the solution called as cloud-based umbrella solution, wherein it's a virtual firewall and a separate virtual firewall solution which is there. So wherein you do not need to worry if there is a premise-based firewall is there or not. So there are multiple types of solutions which we have, which we can stitch in basis of the requirement, and case to case basis we can do the orchestration of these services.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Patil.
Thank you so much, Aman. Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. Before we move ahead, I'll request everyone to fill in a poll and a feedback which has been shared in the chat window. So please take 3-4 minutes to fill this, and then we'll move to Mr. Joshi.
Hello, what happened, Aman?
Sir, I gave some time to fill the poll and the feedback.
Okay.
So 2-3 minutes, and then we'll move ahead. Okay, let's move ahead. With this, I'll invite Mr. Viren Joshi, who is the Executive Vice Chairman and Director, Sigma Electrical Manufacturing Corporation. He'll be talking about digitalization, the tool to enable SMEs to become globally competitive. Mr. Joshi has over 38 years of work experience in reputed global engineering companies, For last 28 years, he has been working as the managing director, CEO in global MNCs. Good afternoon, sir, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Aman. Very nice initial talk from Chandrakant ji, which I think set the tone for the whole discussion today. I think he summarized everything very nicely on behalf of all the SMEs. So that covered everything actually that I would like to say was covered by Chandrakant ji. So that was nice in a way. I was really impressed with the presentation from Mr. Ravindra. Really nice. It covers topics is very dear to me on digitalization. I think it was a very good presentation and good in terms of what Sushil Kumar ji mentioned on the connectivity side. So from my side, a message for all SMEs is really we are facing tough times, facing tough times in the next year or two because of COVID. And we all need to be prepared for that. COVID is not going to go away in terms of the after effects will last long, maybe longer than 2 years, but we should be prepared is my number one comment. Second comment, growth in India and growth globally from my own personal experience, because nearly 98% of what we produce in India from over 12 plants in India is all exported. I can tell you that the market in India and the market globally is booming. There's no better word I can use. We are practically in many of our plants out of capacity. So that's the status. And I know many other companies are in a similar status. So that's another message I'd like to give you. That's not true in all products, all plants, but in many plants. And I've talked to many other companies who are facing a somewhat similar situation. So it's a message worth keeping in mind that there are many bits and pieces of the economy, India and globally, that are doing really well. Others are not. So we'll have to adapt to that also. And the next factor which I face every day and which all of you face every day is how do we become competitive? So I call it globally competitive, but it's applicable for India, applicable for the world. So the number one factor which all of us will face is we want more business. We want to grow. That's what we are all here for. We want profits, and that's right to have. But we are not going to achieve it unless we are competitive. And that competitiveness is very sharp-edged. As Chandrakant ji rightly mentioned in the beginning, the Chinese are out there. I'm not focused on the Chinese. I'm focused on everybody worldwide who's competitive. And those are the people we will have to compete against. And remember, it's a moving target. Today it's the Chinese, tomorrow it's the Mexicans. I have plants in Mexico, and I know how competitive they are. I have plants in US, and they're also very, very competitive in their own way. So the message I give to all of you in India, especially for the SMEs, is the market is there. It's up to us. It doesn't depend on the government. My message to all of you is let's not wait just for the government. Let's look up upon ourselves of what we can do to become competitive. There are many things we can do. Among the things we can do, which is right staring us in the face, and if we don't do it, will result in us not becoming competitive, is to improve our overall operations through lean and through digitalization. These are subsets of one another. There are many more things we can do. I just thought that what Mr. Ravindra showed us today is a very good encapsulation of what we need to do. I'd also like to say, to his 8 steps that he put down, all very right and very correct, don't let us get overwrought by that. To each SME, I would say to you, even if you can go offline, talk to me, talk to SME Chamber, talk to Mr. Ravindra. You will find you can pick up a part of that and use that well. It doesn't mean that you have to cover everything in one go. Go about it step by step. In simple Hindi or Marathi, tapa tapa. Just go step by step and hit the targets that you need to. But we need to hit those targets of improvement. Is it our quality? Is it our cost? Is it our material wastage? As the Japanese call it, mudda. Mudda is the enemy that we need to attack. The next digital is bring your target is bring your rejections down. Another one is your on-time delivery. Customers respect suppliers who have the highest on-time delivery. So keep that in mind. These are very simple factors, but they're very difficult. It's taken us several years to achieve the numbers that we're at. We're at 98% on-time delivery. For retail in America, it's 99.7. Rejections are way below. They're 1/3 of what they were when I started less than 10 years ago. So, and we need to keep improving upon that. But look at that. When I bring my rejections down by 60, 70, 80%, that amount of money goes straight into our pocket as profits. And that money is available for growing in the company. So that's what each of you should focus on to say, how do we achieve it? It's not easy. I can give you one more very attractive comment if you would like, especially on digitalization, but the same is on lean. When you implement these practices and you get the benefits, let's say, I just give you an example. Say you spend $100,000, 75 lakhs on CapEx. That CapEx will come back to you through that you get from digitalization and from lean. So keep in mind that you will, upfront, you might have to spend some money, but you will get full recovery of it from all the savings that you do and more. So don't worry about it, thinking that the capex is too high and you cannot afford it. You can afford it, and you will get the returns very quick. Sometimes the ROI, I'm at this moment looking at a project where the ROI, the returns payback is 3 months. Others are 1 year. Not many of them cross more than 1.5 to 2 years, and you can get that recovery. Just to share with all of you, the World Economic Forum, as many of you know, is focused on getting global leaders together, and they have gone ahead with a global program for digitalization called the Lighthouse Program, and they have put together 69 plants from some of the world's largest manufacturers, including Schneider. Tata Steel is included in it, Renault is in it, Siemens, many more. And the results from these programs of digitalization have been amazing. Bosch is a leader in it, and Bosch in India is working with me to see how we can do more together to support Indian manufacturing. So keep in mind that this information of what these plants have done worldwide and in India is available when we need it. So I would just say to you, keep that in mind. Another small story, just again for your information, Alibaba, whom we all know online, into trading and into whatnot we can buy online, had a secret program for several years, 3 years or more, on digitalization, and they recently revealed it 2 months ago. And that is a fully automated, digitalized plant for making apparel, clothes. And I've seen the video of that, and it's amazing what they've done. And they plan to roll this sort of automation out across China. So that's what you're up against, but that's what we're all capable of working towards. India has a lot of talent to bring across low cost digitalization. And that's what all of us should aim towards. And this whole program of digitalization, lean, is, as mentioned, is a mixture of many activities. You can have augmented reality, you can have additive manufacturing, you can have people reskilling, and I can go on and on. So take a small couple of bits and pieces of this and try and fix what's relevant in your organization, and you will start seeing benefits of it. This is what my request to all of you is: focus on this. This is our future. We must become competitive. The government of India, I can share with you, I work closely with the government, and I can tell you they're very supportive of growth, very supportive of exports, very supportive of the economy. But keep in mind, you all know that the unexpected additional costs due to COVID has hit every government, has hit our government also. And I expect several thousands of crores that would have come into the economy, which could have helped us in development, is now going to COVID. Rightly so. The government has to do that. We all need to contribute. It's a very sad situation we face. I do know we will, but it will take a toll. It will take a toll from a capital point of view, from a health point of view, from every point of view. But we will overcome it. That I'm very confident. And I'm not saying that just for the sake. Genuinely believe, especially in India, we have a lot of resilience, a lot of strength, a lot of capability to overcome it. As we overcome it, my request to all of you is focus on accelerated execution of improve processes in your manufacturing, be very agile, be very quick, and you will not need to spend too much capital is the message I give all of you. So I'm going to stop there. I could go on and talk a lot more about digitalization and the experiences I have, but I will leave that for another day and just again say to you, have faith. I think as SMEs, the government and each of us, Chandrakantji can tell you a lot about what we all believe is the strength of the SMEs in India. I think the SME Chamber does a wonderful job. We have a lot of talent available, a lot of knowledge, a lot of connectivity to connect all of you with what you require. You all have different requirements, and I think Chandrakantji rightly mentioned it. And I'm going to give you one example. In my mind, I always thought because I borrow capital abroad at very low rates, so I was always happy that, okay, I'm getting my capital at very low rates abroad for all my expansion. And Indian capex capital is very costly. I was talking to a banker recently, and I was impressed to know and happy to know that the cost is quite low in India also for good projects. So just leave you with that thought that India also has reached a stage where we can get capital at global interest rates when the project is good. And I know Chandrakantji has the right contacts. I'm sure we can all work together to help all of you in different ways in whatever you require. So just with that message, again, all the very best. And I hope we can all learn to grow together, live together, work together. I think partnering together is going to be important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your words of wisdom. We have time for one quick question. Does anyone, speakers or the delegates, want to shoot any queries to Mr. Joshi? Okay. If none, sir, just wanted a small forecast from you. Which sectors do you see would be most significant for SMEs to build global brands out of India for consumers in, say, next 5 to 10 years?
So, Aman, good question, and I'm glad you made that comment. So, relating to your question, and I will answer it, but I want to make a comment to all the SME members. Based on Aman's comment, I've been looking at several companies from an acquisition point of view for several global funds, and I must leave you all with a story that the number of Indian companies, SME and above, in the 100 to 400 crore, 500 crore range, the number of companies that I saw that are globally competitive, global leaders, doing really well was very impressive. And this is just in the 2 months that I've come back from the US that I looked at these companies and interacted with them. So I must leave you with the story that India has a lot of great companies, mid-size, who are doing extremely well. So I want all of you to have that example in front of you that India also has good companies. To Aman's point, my background, because of us being on the metal side of it, I'm focused on metal. So anything metal manufacturing is a requirement globally. If it's into, I'm in a foundry, forgings, foundry, metal parts, fabrication are a requirement worldwide, is one. Worldwide, a requirement, and in India for defense related products is another area that I see a lot of growth potential. As a subset of that, aerospace, both defense and civilian, is going to be a huge requirement going forward. I know aerospace at this moment is a little down because of the civilian airlines not being doing well, but defense is booming and civilian aircraft will come back again. So that part of the business will grow. So these are some that come to mind right away. And obviously the obvious ones again, which everybody knows, pharmaceutical, medical are doing well and will continue to grow. These are some that come to my mind. I could go on and on, but I'll just stop at these two or three quick examples. But again, the message is huge opportunity. Indian companies are doing well, can do well, must do well. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. With that, I'll just ask humbly to everyone to fill in the poll and the feedback form. We have had a wonderful session. And with that, I'll invite Salunke sir to share his closing remarks.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Virenji. Very, very enlightened speech you have given. And special thanks to again Mr. Ravindra sir. Mr. Ravindra sir, can you on your video? And Mr. Patil, you also. Virenji, you have said about particularly how we can support SMEs. Rather, this is our objective of the chamber and the SME Technology Development Council, that how we can support Indian SMEs to adapt and acquire latest technology, because Government of India, especially Honorable Prime Minister, is looking at a dream that we want to make India as a manufacturing hub. Achieving the $5 trillion economy is not an easy task now because of this 1 year pandemic, and we are going to face a lot of problems, especially SMEs, because most of the SMEs, they are not doing anything, particularly for last 6 months, and now this last 2 months, this is a big impact on their manufacturing industry. But nevertheless, we have already appealed the government to look into that new package for the SME sector, especially from the RBI point of view, because the bankers they have to give a helping hand, then only we can survive. But those are not enjoying any facility from banks. Rather, I suggest them think about for a transformation of business, diversification of business, because you have to survive in this pandemic or in the revive in this pandemic. You have to think about diversification, revival system, and mostly how you will adapt the advanced technology where you can produce the quality products and provide the quality services. But somehow I know a lot of SMEs are not allocating the funds for the acquiring the latest technology, or putting efforts for the new thing system. But now I have suggested the banks that I'm going to submit my appeal to the RBI today or tomorrow, that those companies are getting working capital. The RBI should instruct the banks to provide 25% additional funding, standalone additional funding for buying technological equipment, or buying any type of advanced technology, say from the Tata Tele Business Services, or Microsoft, or from IBM or Salesforce, because SME cannot afford to allocate their own fund from the turnover basis, because they are selling according to the very low margin nowadays. So I think this is the right time to think transformation, think change, because a change will make a lot of change in your business activity, and this will be useful for your business growth. Ravindra Saji, would you like to say about particularly how the SME can uh, survive, or to adapt the unique system to fight or compete in a fourth industrial revolution scenario, which will be now we are going to face this year, next 3 years.
Sure, thank you. My view would be that digital adoption of more and more digital will provide the platform to innovate and support business and for a growth. And to the first step would be that assess the current environment of the SME where they are working, in term whether they are in product or manufacturing environment, and with the technology, with the basic minimum technology adoptions, there are many platforms available. With that, they should convert the current ecosystem in straight way to digital as is condition, whether the product or manufacturing. That the one first target I will recommend to take up. The moment this as is get converted into digital and process is set, then that gives a platform to collaborate, improve, add on the multiple layers of the industry for which you are talking about, the levers, and make a roadmap of next 6 months, next 1 year, and then maybe the next 3 years as a kind of vision to keep on adding, implementing, achieve a maturity level, and go to the next. That's what I will suggest.
Okay, thank you. Since we have understand and we have observed for last many years that SMEs are not thinking about from local to state, state to regional, and regional to national. Looking at the global perspective and looking at the your experience in a global company, Mr. Viren Shahji, what is your unique message to SME sector where SME can think local, act local, but look at the dream or look at the the global market for the particularly utilizing the advanced technology, improving their quality, improving their competitiveness, how they will be capable to achieve this target, particular to entering into the global market. Second thing, how the lean manufacturing or how the other facilities or other system will be beneficial for them, and what is the role of SME Technology Development Council in next 3 years, where we can transform for a better performance. Means SME can be transformed for better performance, not only their growth but the economic growth of India. Virenji.
Thank you, Chandrakantji. Very relevant question for all SMEs. So again, I believe that the next, as I mentioned earlier, for SMEs, knowing the current condition, knowing where many SMEs are today, my message is there is a wonderful opportunity for each one of you to grow and develop and succeed. Yes, Chandrakantji rightly said, some help from the banks is required, but a lot more is required to be done by each of us on our own. For example, improve our cost competitiveness, improve our operations, our processes, as Chandrakantji said, by lean manufacturing, by simple automation. I never use the word automation. I always call it low-cost automation. In my language, it's LCA. Day and night, I think of LCA. So it's low-cost automation, it is lean manufacturing, it is digitalization, Industry 4.0, little things. Don't think that you have to spend 5 crores to get all this done. Spend little bits of money. It's experiments in each department wherever you can. Some of it is, you can improve your cost position by just going lean and removing mudda. You can get 25% of plates freed up by doing simple up of the plants, layout properly done, your productivity goes, your people will become much more productive. So very simple ways to do lean and low cost automation. I remember, again, I can talk to you for hours. We hire thousands of diploma trainees every year. And one of the diploma trainees in his is a 2-year program. At the end of his first year, so please note, he had just spent a year in our company and he came up with a very simple solution, very simple, using cardboard, using a very simple process to bring in an element of low-cost automation to transfer the component from one machine to another. So I'm just sharing with you, ideas can come from anybody when you build create a culture of it. So again, we talked a bit, I think Chandrakantji and Aman mentioned transformation. I would believe culture and transformation can make the difference. You bring that into your company, encourage people to think and thrive and behave openly as if they are the owner of the department, of the machine, of the, you can see a transformation. So the SDC Development Center can do a lot. We have lots of good members, colleagues, experts on it who can help us in every possible way. So if I would stick my neck out to say, whatever concerns you have, if we can take, the development center can take care of it. You hear me? Hello? Are you around? Can you hear me?
Sorry, so you.
Yeah, we can hear you, but your bandwidth is very low. You can
go back.
You can put off your video and then you can talk. Then also it's fine.
Yeah, I'm doing
that. At least your voice will be perfect. Yeah.
Is it now better?
It's still a little inaudible, sir. It's breaking off.
Okay. Okay. What I want to say, all I see is the SME chamber and this can help everybody to solve operation issues by coming all of them in the next 3 years. Okay, back to you, Aman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Aman. Wait.
May I add
Sushil
a couple
Kumar
of-
ji.
Can I
Sushil
add
Kumar ji.
one sentence to this, Mr. Salunka?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, and he very nicely mentioned about that, Mr. Joshi. So when you talk about the lean, is how we can eliminate the wastage. So when we build a kind of minimum, the digital, the twin or digital content, we can do all sort of Kaizen. Kaizen could be one example is put forward that how a space can be released for further work. All sorts of things that can be. And another aspect which we can do it to the SMEs, he can identify, say, top 5 major challenges he is facing. He's facing it out, and they can work on 1 or 2 how with this adoption of the technology can help them to remove those challenges with the solutions available. So that will build the confidence, then it can gradually expand.
Okay. Sushil Kumar ji, question from me and one of my. How you are, looking at particularly building a proper communication, rather new ecosystem for, especially for using many items, many product or many services at a one platform. Can you talk about this similar way?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, your project, where, we will be, understanding the customer business. So if you see my services, it's not just a product. It's like a solution. So we understand, Tata Teleservices understands the customer's business. We be part of his business in the sense we get into the shoes of the customer. We understand what is best for him or what ecosystem we can create, wherein we can stitch this solution as per the customer requirement. It is not just not like, for connectivity, putting a PLS, and, for cybersecurity require certain products, for a cloud-based storage solutions or a cloud-based instances, we put a certain solutions, and all these, all these 3 are, forming as an island. So it does not work that way. So it has to be, properly gelled or understood basis of, the customer requirement. How is it, 5 years down the line, what will be his forecast, and at what level he will be, taking his business. At that time, what he'll be looking as a services, and how these services or the solutions can help him out to excel into it. It's just not, see, my solutions which are there, those are more or mostly Tata Teleservices are into OpEx based solutions. These are not a CapEx sensitive solutions. So wherein solutions which can help him out in getting a right way and excelling into the business, and at the same time it should be a cost effective. So it should not give him a pinch that, probably, my core business, I'm not, I'm drifting it from my core businesses and I'm only moving into the IT. So that balance which is there, that as a Tata Teleservices, we maintain it, we understand the requirement, and according to that, we propose a complete bouquet of services or bundle services which is there, a package which is there. That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. I think this is the right way we have to present to all the SMEs, because we want to create a smart SMEs by providing a smart business solutions. And let me announce today that we have already identified smart business solutions for Indian SMEs, and also the smart business solutions for the industrial automation, because I know industrial automation in India is very vast subject, and we have to put efforts with the knowledge or experience of the Ravindra Shah and the under the leadership of Mr. Viren Joshi ji, that we want to create a one vacuum, that particularly to understand the requirements of the Indian SMEs, that what kind of and how the affordable technology, particularly patented technology, we can promote amongst SMEs. Number 2, SMEs should come out with the requirements where they are looking for transformation of the business, transformation of their industrial aspect, and development and research, particularly for their product. This way, we are SME Chamber of India and SME Technology Development Council is going to work. And I'm sure that today's webinar will give an enlighten or some insight of the what technology, how the technology is going to work for them, and how the technology is useful for them, and particularly how the SME Chamber is working for a benefit of the SME sector, securing the interests of the SME sector. With this word, I'm thankful to all the participants. Special thanks to Tata Television Services for sharing platform to sharing knowledge to SME sector. Virenji and Ravindra Shah and Aman for giving insight for this at this program. With this word, let's close this today's webinar. But this is not a end of the activity or interface, but we will continue our webinars and dialogue. But meanwhile, I suggest all these delegates and the people those are going to watch later on the Facebook and our website as well as YouTube, that suggest your any particular points or send your queries and inquiries on director@smechamber.com, where we can address your queries and where we can give a insight or inputs for you. And of course, you have to enroll as a member, then you can entitle for services. Thank you very much. All the best and be safe, be healthy.
Before we close, I'll just request Mr. Shah and Mr. Patil to share their slides as well. That can be sent out to delegates and speakers. If anybody has any queries, they will be happy to get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you,
best.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.